Our next story is from Israel. It's in the grip of unrest once again. Tensions are rising in the West Bank. There are growing attacks in Tel Aviv. In the last 2 weeks, 13 people have died. Scores have been injured. The violence was expected to subside during Ramadan, but that has not happened. Over the weekend, 5 more people lost their lives. What explains the spate of violence? Here's a report.
3 months into 2022, and Israel is on the edge once again. We're seeing a rerun of 2021. Tensions are rising in the West Bank. There are recurring attacks in Tel Aviv, and Jerusalem is in the grip of unrest. 13 people have died, scores have been injured. The situation is precarious. How did things get here? It all began on the 22nd of March. A Palestinian man killed 4 Israeli citizens. Then, on the 27th of March, 2 Israeli border police officials were killed. And on the 29th of March, 5 Israeli citizens were murdered near Tel Aviv. In all 3 cases, the attackers were killed by Israeli forces. The onset of Ramadan was expected to tone down tensions, but the opposite has happened. Last Friday, there was another attack. This time at a bar in Tel Aviv. A suspected Arab gunman killed 2 Israeli citizens. Within hours, he was traced down and shot dead.
During the night, hundreds of policemen were patrolling the streets of Tel Aviv to find the attacker. We went from one home to another, also on the roads. Around 5:20 a.m. in the morning, here at this site, the police spotted the terrorist. When he saw us, he opened fire on us. Then, we neutralized him.
The Israeli Prime Minister has described these attacks as a new wave of terror. He has promised to make the attackers pay and declared the beginning of a new offensive.
We will get wherever is needed, whenever, in order to cut off these acts of terror. The state of Israel has gone on the offensive.
And the offensive has indeed begun. On Sunday, 2 Palestinian women were shot dead in the West Bank. In a separate case, a 17-year-old teen was killed by Israeli soldiers. Israel says they were all perpetrators of terror. The Palestinians say the killings were an act of revenge. They've hit the streets to protest. Demonstrations are being held in Ramallah, Bethlehem and Jenin.
يعني الأمور متجهة أصلا نحو التصعيد، الأمور متجهة نحو المواجهة. ما شاهدناه خلال الأسبوعين الماضيين له عنوان واحد، هو المواجهة والدماء والضحايا وجرائم الاحتلال. هذه الجرائم.
As tensions escalate, so is the propaganda. Reports say the Palestinian social media has been flooded with messages calling upon people to pick up arms against Israel. Militant group Hamas has also sprung into action. It's issuing warnings to Israel, threatening rocket attacks. The timing couldn't be worse. 3 major religious festivals are overlapping this month: Ramadan, Easter, and Passover. Muslims, Christians, and Jews. They're all expected to hold processions in the days ahead. Israel is a powder keg.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.